And now Stephen Miller, the president of America First Legal and former Trump senior advisor, joins me now. Stephen, unbelievable. Like, what I'd love to do is just weigh in on those last 2 days, 2 trips Trump made yesterday. He went into Michigan, brought the House down, gets on it, Trump Force One, flies to Wisconsin in snow, lands, and just brings the House down in Wisconsin. Should we call this the, two-state solution to 2024?
Well, President Trump, just politically speaking, President Trump is making extraordinary inroads into those blue-collar voter blocs in the so-called blue wall that Joe Biden desperately needs if he's going to stay in power. So with President Trump's laser focus on those voters, these are voters who lost their jobs to China, lost their jobs to unfair foreign trade policies, who've been particularly hammered by low-skilled illegal immigration. Donald Trump is speaking with a passion and a focus to those voters, and that's why you heard him talk so brilliantly yesterday about Biden's border bloodbath. The Biden border bloodbath. You're going to hear that phrase over and over and over again between now and November, driving home for voters that Joe Biden's policy hasn't just taken away their jobs, hasn't just taken away their economic opportunity, but is claiming lives, innocent lives in every community in America.
Yeah, and Stephen, the left went apoplectic. Trump called some of the killers. There's a 2-year-old boy 2 weeks ago who got shot through the head by an illegal. There's one who got run over by a car. There were 2 14-year-olds who were raped. 14-year-old girls were raped by illegals. And then Lake and Riley, and the list goes on and on. So Trump calls these people animals, and the left goes crazy. Stories are written about Trump calling illegals, or call them that, migrants, animals. They just can't help themselves. They can't add the context.
Well, Eric, I've got a pretty thick skin, and I have seen a lot, and I've heard a lot, and I've dealt with a lot. I've had the chance, serving President Trump, to spend a lot of time with American families who've lost a husband, wife, or a daughter to illegal aliens set free by Democrats. And when I hear commie progressive staffers typing out social media for the Biden campaign, leaping to the defense of illegal alien murderers, it brings my blood to a fever pitch boil. Donald Trump is standing there talking about monsters who murder children, monsters who rape little kids, and calling them animals. And some 23-year-old Brown University graduate in gender studies typing out online on behalf of Joe Biden, "Oh my God, Donald Trump just called immigrants animals. This is terrible." You are defending these vile predators when you say that.
So help me out, Stephen.
Condemning the worst behavior that could ever occur in this world, and you're defending it.
So State of the Union, Marjorie Taylor Greene says, say her name, meaning Lake and Riley. Then Biden at State of the Union flubs her name, called her Lincoln Riley, but then he says, rightly, that she was killed by an illegal immigrant. 24 hours later, he corrects himself, saying, I should never have called that an illegal immigrant. A murderer who he says, I shouldn't offend this animal. He didn't use the word animal, I did. Shouldn't defend this animal by calling him, shouldn't offend him by calling him an illegal. I mean, can you imagine the middle of America going, these people are killing our kids or raping our children, and you want to protect their feelings?
Joe Biden apologizing to the man, the illegal alien, the monster, charged with beating Lake and Riley to death is a low point in the already most pathetic, horrendous, horrific presidency that we have had in this country's history. Using the pulpit, the office, the prestige of the American presidency to grovel to an illegal alien charged with a heinous murder of a 22-year-old girl, it should revolt every American to their core. I hope and I pray that the Republican Party raises enough money to play that audio for millions of American voters who aren't going to get it from the legacy corporate press. And let's just be very clear about this. Joe Biden's border bloodbath is stealing the lives of our children, whether it's through crime, whether it is through drugs, whether it is through the economic devastation. Our children, our kids who have their dreams, it's being stolen from them. And I will accept not one word of defense of Joe Biden's policy. And I pray to God that there is a righteous thunder of voting that takes place in the weeks to come to hold this man accountable for his crime against our American family.
Take a listen to Trump over the last two rallies, both yesterday. Again, Michigan, Wisconsin. He was just focused. He was in the zone, folks. Listen.
We have an empty podium right here to my right. You know what that is? That's for Joe Biden. I'm trying to get him to debate. I'm here tonight to declare that Joe Biden's border bloodbath. Remember, they used the name bloodbath. I was talking about something entirely different, but this is a border bloodbath. Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. He's the threat to democracy.
Yeah, so he was locked in. Dialed in. New polling out. I believe this Wall Street Journal this morning shows Trump beating Joe in 6 of the 7 swing states, important, and the 7th being tied. Does that change?
The public opinion is going to continue shifting towards Donald Trump, particularly when you see this relentless focus by President Trump on these crimes, these migrant crimes that Joe Biden has unleashed in our communities. And he did a brilliant job, an incredible job yesterday, laying out that case in painstaking, chilling detail. What we have to realize is that the Democrat strategy is to try to incarcerate President Trump. The Joe Biden strategy is, nobody likes my policies, nobody likes my agenda, nobody likes my record, nobody likes me, so I'm going to try to throw Donald Trump in prison. That is the Democrat strategy. And so Republicans have to understand now more than ever, you need to rally behind the Republican nominee, and you need to make clear that Democrat lawfare is going to trigger an even more momentous backlash at the ballot box. And we need to be very emphatic in saying, you try to take down our nominee in court, and we are going to send more ballots than you've ever seen before in your entire life. That's what it's going to take, Eric.
Yep, we're going to leave it there. Stephen, again, folks, if you don't know Stephen, the background, that man was with Trump for the 4 years, and he's also very instrumental, correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen, in Trump's border policy that was working so great while he was there that Biden...
Honor of my life to work on that border policy, Eric.
Yeah, that was your brainchild. We got to get back. We got to get him back in there, and Stephen, we got to get you back
President
there right
Trump
next to him.
Will save America. He will seal the border. We need to make that happen.
All right, Stephen Miller, good having you. Thank you for joining us.